Welcome to the LA Business Podcast, a forum for business owners and senior executives to share the experiences about the elements that drive their success. Your host is Robert Brill, CEO of BrillMedia.co.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the LA Business Podcast. Today our guest is Craig Wolfe, president at CelebriDucks. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much, Robert. It's a pleasure.
I really like the name. Tell us about CelebriDucks and how you got into the duck business.
Well, what did John Lennon say? Life's what happens when you're busy making other plans. I mean, I didn't suddenly get the idea I want to make rubber ducks of celebrities. It's crazy, right? I was publishing art from television commercials for Coca-Cola, Anheuser-Busch, M&M Mars. I take the artwork, I produce it for the art market. No one had really done that for them. That was our business. One night at a party, a friend, and too much alcohol. So, had this idea, make rubber ducks that look like celebrities. And I think most people would have ignored it. I thought it was an amazingly cute idea if you could translate it in real life. And so I decided to make a little sample called King Features on the rights to Betty Boop. They probably couldn't get me off the phone quick enough, but they were polite enough to say, make one, send it, goodbye, And I did. I found someone to make me one overseas, sent it to him. And one morning I come in, there's a note from the head of licensing for North America. They say, we got your little Betty Boop duck. It's really cute. Let's talk. CelebriDucks was born.
And what year was this?
This was like 1997.
And so what happened with the Betty Boop CelebriDuck? Like, what do they do with that?
We started selling it in the stores and people really liked them. So
you're selling it?
I'm selling it. Oh, yeah. They're just licensing it.
Got it. Okay. So the licensing world is you get the rights.
You get the rights.
Use Betty Boop.
Right. You get the rights to pay them money. Royalties.
It's a great business to be in.
Right.
So you get the rights to do this. How do you get into retailers?
It's just a lot of calling around and sending samples and this and that. But we really weren't getting huge traction, to be honest with you. On it, because if you call someone and say, look, I make rubber ducks, but they're not gonna. And you only had one Betty. Then we had Groucho Marx and Betty Boop. That was it. So I'm always doing my own PR, sending out press releases all the time. I just everywhere, And one day I get a call from the Atlantic City Press in Jersey. And they go, we got one of your little press releases about your ducks. They go, why should we do a story about you? I go, well, I'm from Jersey. I go, and I used to go to Atlantic City. They go, good enough. And that story ran in the Atlantic City Press, and the vice president of the Philadelphia 76ers happened to read it. And they're always looking for the next cutting edge promotion. So they called. And they wondered if we could do Allen Iverson. If you know him, they're superstar. And said, can you match all his tattoos? He has elaborate tattoos going down his arms. And this is a little duck, right? Little duck arms, about half an inch thick, right? I said, yes, we can do that. I hoped we could. And long story short, that duck looked more like him than he did. It came out fabulous. And next thing, the Yankees called, the Cubs. We had a whole new company. And we sold off the animation, became all ducks. We're getting all this PR. And we started getting known very much through the PR side of it.
So what type, I'm really interested in the press release component of it. What type of press releases, what were you saying in these press releases?
I said, it's kind of like CelebriDucks announces, a brand new art form, Celebrity Rubber Ducks. Our first release is Betty Boop and Groucho Marx I might have had at that time. I go, they're really cute. They float in the tub. They're licensed celebrities, and, for some reason they thought it was whimsical and crazy enough that it'd be a fun little story.
Were you sending out monthly press releases?
No, you know what I did? Yeah, I bought these books back in the days before the internet pretty much was so big books. And it lists all the reporters, all the newspapers, everything all over the country. One by one, I'd address envelopes. I type out a press release, print it out, and I put it in envelopes and mail them. That's incredible. Back in 97. I was mailing them to hundreds of newspapers, but you see, it only takes one. and it changed the whole company. And I mean, now we're considered the top rubber duck manufacturer in the world. But it really changed. I still kid, the guy there, the 76ers. He's left since. I call him the patron saint of CelebriDucks. I go because he saw it. He had that vision to see what it could be, and it was a hugely successful promotion for the Sixers. He saw what it could be, and then all these other teams and companies came calling, all based on that one little thing, huh?
So what kind of so fast forward to 2020, like what types of CelebriDucks? I'm fascinated. Where can I buy CelebriDucks? What types of CelebriDucks are there? Like tell us about that.
Well, we sell them all over the world. And the other thing is we're also, believe it or not, the top custom duck manufacturer in the world. So we have people come to us from Harley Davidson to SeaWorld to Amazon Zappos, Jersey Boys on Broadway. They come to us, Larry the Cable Guy. They come to us to create, Conan O'Brien. They come to us to create ducks for them, for their brand, to give away. For their companies as promotional giveaways, or for celebrities who are doing tours to give away as celebrity merch. So it really grew, and so we get companies from all over the world contacting us to create ducks for them, and it's a huge part of our business. In addition to the retail line that we sell, we have distributors around the world who sell them. We sell to them; they sell to stores. So
Where can I? So you're selling to the distributors. So what types of stores can the end consumer, go about their lives and then encounter a CelebriDuck?
Well, there are stores, believe it or not, that just cater to rubber ducks, like just duck stores, if you can believe it, all over the world. I know you wouldn't, Robert, you wouldn't know how big this market is, rubber ducks. You think it's crazy, right? They sell hundreds of thousands of them all over the world in duck stores. And then there's gift stores, and then just regular gift stores. When we first did these, we did like 10,000 sets for Kiss, the rock band Kiss. That was a huge hit for us. Gene Simmons loved them. They just came out fabulous. So they got into stores, they got into the merch outlets for the celebrities and those particular companies, and it just expanded. So right now you can buy them on our website, CelebriDucks.com. You can buy them on Amazon. You can buy them in stores. Some stores in your neighborhood might have them. They may or they may not. It all depends. On the store. Retail's a little bit funny right now, right? I mean, a lot of stores have not there right now.
Problems.
Big problem.
So if I wanted to like resell CelebriDucks, could I do that?
Yeah, absolutely. People call us all the time. They say, "Hey, I want to sell my store." The thing about us is we don't care if it's the biggest store in the world or some guy who's just going to buy a small number. It's the same to me. I'm happy to have them, and they can always call us. And our phone numbers in big letters on every page. We always based our company on being really accessible to people and treating our smallest customer the exact same. They could be SeaWorld, they could be Amazon, New York Yankees, or the guy who's selling on eBay. All the same to us,
And what type of marketing do you do today? Is it primarily, do you do any marketing? Let's start there.
Honestly, it's PR is, we were voted one of the top 100 Disc Entertainment Weekly. We've been on the Tonight Show. We've been on Conan. Jimmy Kimmel. We are always the PR side of it, big time. So we pretty much run on PR. We do not really advertise for the most part. We don't take out ads. We do our blog. We do our Facebook, our Instagram. Social media, I think today is really big. For some reason, when we try to do traditional advertising like ads in magazines, it never really works for us.
Yeah.
Even though the funny thing, Robert, is you could take our Harry Ponder duck, our Goosebusters, or even take Quack America, this,
You said Harry Ponder.
We'll sell tens of thousands of them. We'll sell out of every store we put them in. That doesn't mean we can get into the majors. They buy what they're familiar with. And we are quirky products. The fact that we sold millions of them still will not get us into the giant stores necessarily. But we don't have to get into the giant stores, right? You can still create a top-notch brand without having to have your stores in Walmart, Target.
Sure. Direct to consumer totally is a total opportunity. So like what type of like how do they what do they cost retail?
Well, we are at the top end. Like people think of a rubber duck, they think, oh, $2 to $3. Now, I mean, you can see how intricate these like crocodile rock. I mean, look at the intricacy. I mean, ours sell for closer to on our website at $12.99. But still, for the amount of work and what these are and the gift box and the whole thing, it's not that much. So even in any type of economy, up or down, we're selling thousands and thousands of ducks. They're great gifts. And
Have
then,
you
I'm sorry.
so there's so many places, man. So basically anyone who's listening who wants a drop ship opportunity, like I could set up a storefront, call it something with a nice little duck pun, a pun set
Right.
up,
Yeah.
and
Perception. Yeah.
sell your products, and you would fulfill on it.
We would probably we don't really drop ship. I mean, we can, but the fees would be too much because our minimums are so low. Most stores can easily afford to buy a really small quantity and just ship them from their location. It's a better thing for them in terms of saving costs because we don't have huge minimums. A lot of stores they say you got to buy 12 styles and 24 of each one. We're not like that. We cater to our smallest customer, the guy who doesn't have big funds. So anybody can carry them and sell them and create their own website.
I love that. That is so cool. Maybe I'll get into the
We're the
duck.
everyman. And then the other thing, Robert, is we also the rubber duck was invented in America. I don't know if you caught it, but the whole industry went overseas. Not one rubber duck is being made in America anymore. So we are the only ones. We brought the industry back to the USA. We do all our artwork and sculpting here. I would make the really complicated ones here. There's not one factory in America that can do the final production. So we're going to do the beginning. But the good ducks, the PVC free ones for babies to teeth on, 100% made in America or a factory in Michigan. And it's
And you
the
make
same.
those.
We make those all here. Medical and food grade materials. I mean, it's our biggest hit because most people don't know. They go, oh, I want to get my baby something really safe because they're chewing on it 24/7, right? And so they get them latex ducks. They go, oh, it's real rubber. But they have no idea of the latex allergies and what the problem real latex creates for very young babies. So we have an alternative. Not only is it made in America, but it's latex free, paint free, BPA free, phthalate free. You can almost eat this thing. So it's the safest rubber duck in the world, and we actually think we'll be exporting. We already export them around the world, even right back to China, as the safest and only rubber duck you would give a newborn. So that's a whole other division, the good duck division.
Good duck.
That's what we call it, the good duck.
Do you do any like business tchotchke like stuff? Like if I wanted a Brill Media duck, could I do that?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And they don't. People have us create boats, floating otters, SeaWorld, an octopus. I mean, you should see the things we get asked to create because we're most people don't know. 80% of the rubber ducks out there will not float. They'll lay on their side, or they have a hole in it which gets water in it, and you get mold. So we learn. My the head of our art department. Just so you know, I mean, the guy's a genius. His father created the Easy Bake Oven. He invented it and made Play-Doh safe for kids. He knows how to sculpt. So we know how to sculpt them so you can throw them in on their head and they'll pop upright. And so our stuff is really, really a step above what you would normally find on the market. So a lot of people come to us because they want to create something for the company to give out to their customers. And unlike the little cheapy little ducks that you just have a logo on it, Joe's Plumbing, that they give it to the customer throws it away. These we can create for them are so complicated and unique. Joe's Plumber's holding a hot dog, a plunger, he's got a hat, sunglasses. I mean, the detail we do is off the charts. And I'll tell you something. People always come to us, they go, how do you deal with knockoffs overseas? I say, I'll tell you how to deal with knockoffs. They'll always make something cheaper overseas. They'll never go upscale. Make it so difficult to make, so complicated, so intricate, so expensive. No one will touch you. And in over 20 years, no one's ever tried to make one of ours with our detail because they're too difficult. And plus, we put them in gift boxes, individual gift boxes, each with their own design. Robert, no one's going to do it.
Do you have a place? Do you have a place where people can see like all the interesting types of designs you've built over the
Yeah,
years?
that's CelebriDucks.com. We have the duck store where you can see the whole line, and at the very top it says custom ducks, and there's a drop down. You can see all custom work we did for all the celebrities and sports teams and NASCAR and the NBA and the NHL and Kiss and Larry the Cable Guy. I mean, they're real. Snoop Dogg. I mean, they're incredible.
What has happened with your business over the last 6 7 months as COVID took a turn? Are you COVID proof?
I thought we were really going to get hammered, to be honest with you, because I was thinking, well, with everything people are going through, would they still be buying ducks? So I was really surprised how we've stayed busy, nonstop custom work, still doing it. We continue to sell thousands and thousands of ducks. I mean, it's continued for us. And the only thing I can think is because we're like not that expensive and they're so cool and people still do give out gifts and collectors still love them, we really keep clipping on. Yes, it was busier before, and we definitely had a lot of our custom clients who were working on had to hit the pause button, but we still keep going. The thing about us is, if you want to do a custom duck from scratch, like a Robert Brill duck, any factory is going to want 3,000 to 5,000 to do it, and it still might not float or look like anything. We're the only company in the world that'll just do 1,000 of them. So for any small player, we are the only option because I have the only factory that will run that few of them. So, so that keeps us continual group of people who come to us because where can you get something that 20 years down the line is still going to be sitting on their client's desk because they're so cool and far out?
So you're saying this is a collector's item. Like you have groups of people who collect these ducks.
Oh my God, we have a CelebriDucks collectible gift guide on our website. If you scroll down, you can buy one. Yeah, I mean, they're limited editions. We've done hundreds of thousands of these, so people collect them all over the world.
And as you think about direct to consumer marketing, like it sounds like you're saying earlier, like PR and press has been the key driver of your business. Is licensing a bigger part of your business than direct to consumer, or how does that ultimately break out?
It was. We used to do a lot of licensing in the beginning. Like, for instance, like the collegiate. I did all the collegiate mascots, North Carolina, Texas, University of Kentucky, all of them. At a certain point, the licensing, we just were growing so fast, I didn't want to do it. But I have a client who's called the Rubber Tubbers, and we make them for him, and he does all the licensing. So he can deal with that side of it, and we do what we do best, which is just making them. And then a few years ago, we had licenses with the estate of Elvis Presley, Marilyn Monroe, right? Kiss, everybody, right? Carmen Miranda, Charlie Chaplin, go on and on. And then we had this idea, Robert. What about if we just made, instead of more human duck mixes, we just did them as yellow ducks as parody. So they're just yellow ducks, but they give you the feeling of famous people without being that famous person. You get what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, you get this duck, and it's Crocodile Rock, right? It's just a yellow duck, but you kind of get a feeling, right? Who it is, if you see this, and then sometimes we just hit things at the right time, right? She's now the top selling one.
I imagine.
Along with the Donald duck. So, and people really like the other thing we did, we come up with all these like quirky names. Squawk, like Squawk This Way. Duck looks like a lady. That's the new one coming out. But we have Goosebusters. Give geese a chance. Mr. Squawk. People, they get it. The Floating Stones. Sergeant Peep. They know, right? And yet they're just yellow ducks. But
so it sounds, what's interesting to me, it sounds like you're really much more focused on being the manufacturer and the creator of these products, and you work with other businesses to distribute, to license.
Right.
It sounds like that's a conscious choice.
It is. We don't have one salesperson, if you can believe it. The work, people call us. We always add new stores. People are always calling, customers calling. I mean, like I say, we sell a lot of them, but we don't really contact very many people. And honestly, I could take the good duck and I could call a store like a Bed Bath and Beyond or this, and you would think the safest rubber duck in the world for teething babies. They definitely put it in. Not so fast. No.
I imagine, we've worked with some advertisers who are in retail spaces, and like this such a really interesting, unique, convoluted almost world that you have to have relationships, you got to know people, and
Uh-huh.
they require you to spend a certain amount of money in advertising to support the
Mm-hmm.
product. Like it's fascinating to me because I'm sure some people might be thinking like, well, why don't you just, if you have such a great product, why don't you do the marketing and advertising yourself? But the challenge is it's such a different type of business to be a licensor, to be a manufacturer, to
Right.
be a retailer. Like they sound like they're the same thing, but they're actually dramatically different businesses,
That's
which is
right.
why we're not in the drop ship business. We're in the marketing business because we know how to do that really well. So the specialization becomes very important in that whole process.
That's right. So right. So true. Do what you do best
Yeah.
and put your energy into that. I realize we can make the finest rubber ducks in the world. I'm not going to be the top salesman in the world. I don't want to be the top licensor. I want to make the finest rubber ducks in the world. And I really feel if you build a better mousetrap, the world will beat a path to your door. I've always believed that. And it's certainly been the case with us. I mean, every day we'll have people calls or new store. And it grows organically. And that's the beauty of social media today, too. People see it, they love it, it's cool, they share it. It's a whole new world now with that.
Do you has anything changed in your business over the last year since 7-8 months because of COVID? Like what is like are there any trends that you might be seeing, or is it kind of like business as usual and you're going to kind of continue on into 2021 the way you've been working? Like how does it look?
It, Robert, it's so strange. I really was expecting it to change dramatically, and it's almost like business as usual. Business as usual. In fact, some of our biggest accounts are even ordering more than ever. And I honestly don't. I can't say I understand it. But it hasn't affected us. Maybe because, like I say, we're such a unique, nichey product that you're not gonna. It's what I mean. If you want a really cool gift, if it's a newborn and you want to get them a gift, and you know about the good duck, well, why wouldn't you buy it? You know what I mean? It's even if
I
it's more than
imagine
$3, it's the safest rubber duck in the world and the only one made in America. Oh, that's the other thing. We're benefiting from the made in America right now. You have to understand, people aren't big on overseas stuff right now. Trust me. And look, I got a great factory overseas. I work with these people over 20 years. They're like family, but they're overseas. You know what I mean? And most factories are not like these guys. And so people don't trust it. I mean, there's more unsafe stuff that comes in and illegal stuff from overseas. Robert, you have no idea how bad it is. So the fact that we are the only rubber duck company in America, even though we can't finish the really complicated ones, but we do half the work here, people like that. They really like that. So that's really produced an uptick for us. They actually want to support us.
amazing.
Yeah.
Um, there's something I wanted to ask you. I don't recall what it was. Um, so yeah, being in the right place at the right time is definitely helpful. Where I was going actually is I think there's the trend, any company. So I talk to a lot of different companies, both for the business that we do and this podcast. And I immediately, when I hear stories of like what I hear from you, I immediately think that there's a flight to value. When a business is increasing and doing better during a tough economic time, I automatically default to you must be providing exceptional value and you're the right product for the time. Meaning, if I had hundreds of dollars to spend in gifts, now I have less than $100 to spend in gifts, or everything gets lowered, which means if I have less money, I'm going to buy a really high quality gift, but it'll be just a lower overall cost gift. And you fit perfectly into that
Perfect, right?
framework.
Perfect, right? I always tell people, I do business interviews all over the world, and people always think that they're going to compete on price, which is like the world's biggest mistake. Because let me tell you this, Robert, and you probably know it well. There's always someone who can make it cheaper. Quality. Milton Hershey said it. Quality is the hardest thing to knock off. You, if you, everybody thinks they're going to be all things to all people. You can't be. You think everybody loves the Beatles. Half the people don't like them. They like the Rolling Stones. Everyone likes Coke. Half the people don't. They like Pepsi. You can't be all things to all people, right? So pick your niche and become the best in your niche and go upscale. Make the point of entry so difficult because you're so good at it, and no one's going to try and knock off do that quality. That's how you grow a business, and so you can get through any economic time, to be honest with you, because you have no competition in with your particular niche and quality.
So Craig, how can people reach out to you or someone in your organization if they want to partner with you?
It's very easy on the website. Every page it's CelebriDucks.com, just like celebrity, and you go CelebriDucks.com. Our phone numbers in big letters. Now how you can't find phone numbers on websites, you have to search for about an hour. Big letters on every page. They can call us. If we're tied up, we will call them back. They can email us. Email info@celebriducks.com. We return every phone call of every. I mean, that's how I do business. I always have. I own the company 100%. I love talking to everybody. It's a strange business model, and I from day one I've always run it. Even though we're the largest in the world and in the top, I've always run it from home. Even when I was doing the animation, always ran it from home.
How long does it take to turn around if someone wants to order ducks and they want it custom made or whatever, like what exactly happens there in that situation?
Well, I would say, in COVID days now, things take longer. For instance, I just had a container come in and it sat for 2 weeks in New York. People are furious. They go like, I can control this, right? We're doing jobs for the Grand Ole Opry. Where is it? I go, it's in New York. I don't know. You have to understand with COVID, they pulled ships out of production. They pulled rail cars out because there's less business. So they pulled them out of circulation. That means it's harder to find them and there's less of them. I can't control that. So things take a little bit longer. I tell people, you want a custom job, give me 4 to 6 months minimum. 4 to 6 months start to finish. Robert, if I knew how difficult it was to make a rubber duck, the sculpting, the spray mask, getting the float right, the engineering, the molds, I had no idea, how long these things take. It is not like I'm looking at, you got Funko products behind you, right? Those little vinyl ones? Yeah. Those are not too bad to make. Nothing like making a floating rubber duck with rotational molding as opposed to injection molding. Very, very complicated. I admire Funko tremendously. So I always say, give us at least 4 to 6 months. Now, when Conan needed them, when he went from the Tonight Show to his new show on TBS, they gave us like a month and a half. It was a miracle. It's almost impossible physically. But 2 days before it opened, 2,000 Conan O'Brien ducks, we flew him in. We're sitting there for him to give away.
How did you make that happen so quickly?
It was a miracle how we did it. I mean, a company came to us. They were already working with someone else. They said, this guy's, first of all, I looked more like Conan than the thing they were producing. They said, can you take over this job and salvage this thing? I said, we took it over. It happens all the time. They try and work with some cheap company in China. They come to us to salvage it, because they're losing a fortune and they're going to miss their deadline. Remember, we do things with the Houston Rockets, the Detroit Detroit Pistons. You can't miss a giveaway. So we're known for this. And so they come to us and we have to take over the job. And with Conan, we had a very short deadline, but we just really, really maxed out our factory working day and night. And we had to air freight them in. They had the budget. And that saves you about maybe a month at least. So we did it, and he loved it.
I can tell you love what you do.
You know what? Every day, it's like yes, every day it does not seem like work. If you're making rubber ducks a celebrity, you're having so much fun. The Duckinator, I'll be Quack. We just sit here coming up with names and products, and now maybe it's endless. It's endless, right? Sometimes I'm not even going to do them. I'll be sitting with Dee, and she came up with so many of these ideas, and she goes, I said, what do you think? She goes, squawk this way. I go, oh, we are so doing it. Everyone knows it, right? Duck looks like a lady. Everyone will get it.
Yeah.
And that's half the fun. And people love them. I mean, it's nice that people actually love our art form. So,
Great stuff. So CelebriDucks.com.
Yes.
Is the website. All right. Craig Wolfe, president of CelebriDucks.com. CelebriDucks, thanks for being with us today.
Yeah. Thank you, Robert. I really appreciate it, man.